Hello everyone. Today I have a review of Honor 6X. This review would specifically be about the dual camera setup that the company has provided in this handset. If you want me to review the handset for any other specifics or overall performance or something like that, you can leave a comment down below. I'll do the review. But for now, I'm going to stick with the dual camera setup. Now, if we were to believe the company said that the dual camera is the secondary camera is to capture the depth details within the frame. So that would help the primary camera generate a DSLR like images, and I'm going to review that claim. Some of you may be aware of the fact that the camera does not focus on an object, it focuses at a distance. So any number of subjects at that given distance would be in focus. Take for instance these two trees which are at the similar distance from the camera. And if I focus on one, the other one should also be in focus if the camera is using an arrangement of lenses just like a DSLR would to capture any image. But here, as you see, the camera is not able to focus on both the subjects at the same time. But we'll take a photograph and we'll see what the final image is like. And the camera app also has a feature which can be used to refocus on any of the given subjects in the photograph after you take that photo. So we're going to use that feature and see how well it focuses on different subjects at the same distance from the camera lens. It also has a feature to change the lens aperture, and for illustration purpose I'm going to increase the aperture to the maximum. Now, as I said earlier, both the tree stems are at a similar distance from the camera lens. So if I tap on either one of these, the other one should also be in focus at that same time. But that's not the case here. If I tap on the left tree stem, the other one, the right one, goes out of focus. And if I tap on the right one, the left one goes out of focus. That means the camera is not able to figure out whether the two separate subjects are at a similar distance or not. So all this camera does is that it captures an image and it processes that image depending upon what you choose to be the subject of that particular image by tapping on the subject. Now let's click another photograph using two different subjects and see whether the secondary camera is actually capable of depth sensing or not. And this time the subjects would be these two bushes. So let's take a photograph and go into gallery to edit the photograph. Let me just rotate this photograph, and now if I tap on the bush on the left, as you can see, the right one does not come in focus even though the bottom half of the right one is in focus. So the secondary camera does have a sense of depth which it adds to the photograph, but it's not as good as a DSLR would have. But for a phone it's good enough. But before you get too excited, let me save this photograph and show you the after effects. Have a look at the bush and you'll be able to see that the bush is clearly in focus and everything around it is very much out of focus, which creates a very nice bokeh effect. But look closely. Anything between the branches is not blurred. That means the image is processed using some kind of algorithm. Now that we have established that the wide aperture feature is just a gimmick, but at the same time we also know that the secondary camera is actually able to capture some kind of depth details. So what kind of details it can capture? We'll have a look into that now. As you know, this phone provides an option to readjust the focus to a different subject after you have taken the photograph, and that can be achieved with the help of the depth perception of this secondary camera. What it basically does is that it divides the image into different sectors depending upon the distance of that particular subject from the image, and you can simply readjust the focus to any given subject by simply tapping on it, and everything else would be blurred out. This implies that the secondary camera given on this smartphone is not just a gimmick, it is actually helpful for capturing the depth details which are basically used to refocus an image after it has been captured. This is nothing that a single camera smartphone cannot do, but on a single camera smartphone you have to physically move the smartphone to be able to capture that refocusable image. and that same image is generated with so much of ease on this smartphone. To sum up the video, I would say that the dual camera setup helps you take a refocusable image with a relative ease, but the wide aperture mode does not pick up the edges of the subject clearly, and that is more evident when you zoom into the image. I hope you found this video helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.